All right, hello everyone. Welcome to State of the Game for November 30th. I made it, I said it right.
You did it.
So today it's just me sitting in the couch, but actually I'm not technically alone because I have Hamish that is operating everything, all the camera and the hard part.
Hi.
And he actually has his own camera now, so you get to see Hamish potentially. So how is everybody doing? It's been a very long time since I actually had to do a State of the Game on my own. We don't have Peter with us right now, so he's busy with some other stuff.
He didn't die. Yeah.
No. We don't. I said right now. I said we don't have Peter with us right now. But he's still alive, and he's not fired. Don't worry. He will come back. He's just busy doing some stuff in Paris with some other Ubisoft people. Peter was too depressed to do State of the Game. Come on now, guys. Come on. Be nice to Peter. But yeah, so in this State of the Game, we're going to be talking about things and stuff, as we said earlier, with Hamish. But I wanted to start with just a very message that I wanted to give you guys, because I've seen that there's been a lot of stuff happening recently, or basically we had a lot of new players coming because we had the Black Friday sale and all of that, and people that are getting excited for update 1.8, so people come back, or people come to the game and are new. And what I've seen, and I just wanted to mention, was just how awesome you guys have been at welcoming new players. And I really mean it. I really mean it. I think this is amazing. This is what we have communities for. You know, it's about actually just welcoming new members and making sure that they're feeling like home, feeling welcomed and everything. And I think this is just a very amazing sign of this community that we're all part of. So I just wanted to take this time, now that I have actually the camera just for me.
Yannick, I'm going to cry.
No,
this is so nice.
Don't cry. This is not what I mean.
It's lovely.
But yeah, I just
More
wanted to
please.
say we love you guys, and thank you for being nice to others. And try to be nice to us sometimes as well. But that's something else. That's all right. So, but now let's talk about the actual stuff that you guys want to know about.
Yeah,
when's
it happening, Yannick?
So let's talk about burgers. No? That's not that? All right. Get Hamish some Kleenex. All right. No, so update 1.8. I know that a lot of guys want, I mean, all of you probably want an update on the release date of 1.8. We did say it was going to release early December. I have good news and I have bad news for you guys. Can you guess what this is? No, we are not delaying the update. So no, the good news is I can confirm the update is coming out next week. We said early December. It is releasing in early December. It is releasing next week. The bad news is that I cannot give you the date. I am not allowed to give you the date.
But I mean, come on. Like,
for reasons.
You know, right? Like it's...
So we'll let you guess. And this is not a game. This is just, you won't have a date. What I can tell you, though, is that we will announce the date on Monday. So on Monday, you will have the release date announced. It is next week. It is definitely coming out next week. I am just not able to tell you which day of the week, and I'll let you guys do the speculation.
You have a 1 in 7 chance of getting it right.
Because, yes, you know, just look at previous releases and what is the day we usually release updates on. And I may have lost my job right now. Hopefully I won't.
Yannick just getting straight fired. Please.
All right.
For now on IGN, community developer from the division suddenly doesn't show up anymore.
Oh my God. All right.
Do it.
No, I haven't said anything. I haven't said the release date, right? Chat. I didn't give you a release date. All right. Anyway, so what I wanted to mention as well, because we've been working on something, and Hamish in particular, we've been working on something. So what we're going to do when the update actually releases is we want to do a 24-hour stream. So whenever the update releases, whatever the day that is, know that as soon as the servers open, we will go live and we'll do a 24-hour stream with you guys where we're going to be just like playing the game, hanging out with chat, having some devs coming in and talking about the update or whatever, what they ate today, because we like to do that a lot. And yeah, so just make sure to join us, play the game as well, but you can have the live stream in a second screen, because we have some cool stuff to actually.
I like that you say cool stuff.
Some cool stuff.
Thanks for not giving spoilers. But you did say I've been working hard on this. But Peter has been coordinating this 24-hour stream as well. It's going to be the whole community team is going to be streaming, right? So I'll be streaming. Yannick will be streaming. We have all the other guys as well.
Yes. So make sure to join us and watch but also play the game. Do both. Come on. It's 2017.
At
I'm sure
the same
you guys
time.
have more than one screen. The other thing also, global event. So just to mention briefly, as we had said when we talked about the early December release, so the global event number 3, will start the week that follows the release of the update. So as we said, the updates comes out next week, which means the next global event happens 1 week after that. I also don't know exactly what day it's going to start. But yeah, it's going to be the week after that as well. And I also don't know which global event it's going to be and what will be the reward. So definitely can confirm there will be a state of the game next week where we'll give you all the information about this global event.
Can we just clarify that one thing? You know, how I saw someone in chat being like, so the Division are paying big streamers to stream 1.8? That whole rumor thing?
Oh, is it the, yeah, so,
I saw that one again.
Yeah, there's this rumor going on. I see Cyberwolf, yeah, just put that in chat now saying we're paying big streamers. First, I'll be honest, what would be wrong with that? I mean, that's just how it works. But actually, we are not doing it, though. We are not doing it. We have a bunch of big streamers, though, that mentioned that they were interested in coming back to the Division for update 1.8, and that's cool. And we're like, yeah, sure, the guys,
awesome.
just come. And like, we support that. That's pretty cool. But we're not paying anyone, really. We're not paying anyone to do that. Everybody that will be streaming update 1.8 will do that because they actually want to do it.
Yeah.
So just to be clear on that.
Cool. And we'll be completely honest with you if that ever happens in the future. And we have in the past, and all the streamers who have done that in the past, they always do the hashtag ad stuff. So, again, there's nothing to hide there.
And there you go. We're being called liars.
Is
Thanks,
Marco
chat.
getting paid?
Love you guys.
No, Marco's not getting paid.
Marco's not getting paid.
Nope.
Hire Marco already. Well, he's free to send an application.
We've told Marco that he should apply. Come on.
All right.
Anyway,
so update 1.8, quick recap of what is coming with update 1.8 for those of you that are potentially new and that are like, what are they talking about? What is this update 1.8 thing? So it's the next big update. It's actually the biggest free update that we've ever done on this game. So it's huge, as someone would say. And so it contains a new PvE mode, Resistance, that is, like kind of a horde mode type of thing. We also have a new PvP mode, Skirmish, 4-on-4, pure PvP experience. We have a kind of improvement to undergrounds with like Hunter showing up in underground, and now we actually have checkpoints. Also revamped the whole directive system. We have a Rogue 2.0 system, and we'll talk a bit more about that. Gear optimization features that allows you to improve your gear so you don't actually have to like constantly try to grind for this min-maxed god roll kind of piece. You actually get to improve it yourself. And we have new exotics coming. So that's kind of the rundown of what update 1.8 is. We will have patch notes going out on Monday, so we will have the complete list of everything, not just the content, but all the changes, bug fixes, and all of that. That will be coming out on Monday alongside the actual release date of the update. But again, the update comes out next week. Now, I'm actually not completely alone also on top of the fact that there is Hamish to my right. There's actually people, very tiny people in the screen in front of me, which feels weird because they're just like chatting for like the past 5 minutes already in my ear. And I'm like, guys, will you just shut the fuck up? So yeah, we actually have the folks from Redstorm on the line with us. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Can you unmute Ben, please?
Good to see you.
Hey.
Sorry for chatting in your ear.
That's fine.
Couldn't help it.
You know, I love you. I'm just kidding. So we have the dynamic duo, Terry and Keith, pointing at each other. How are you guys doing? So it's early morning for you guys.
Yeah, we just got up. No, we didn't.
No, it's not
good.
early morning, actually.
It's just it's earlier than your day. Yeah. We have children.
They're so nice to not tell me, like, dude, you actually just mixed up the time zones, but that's fine. All right, so why did we bring you guys in? It's basically because we kind of wanted to have a discussion about update 1.8, and especially one part of it that has been a big focus of the discussion of the community, which has been the Rogue 2.0 changes, right? There's been a lot of debate. There's been a lot of things said about it, and we've kind of mentioned also about what we were doing. But what maybe we could have done a bit of a better job at is trying to really explain why we're doing it and where that comes from, what is actually happening in the dark zone today, and why we think that it's needed to make these changes. So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about in this state of the game. So that's why we brought you guys in. Are you guys ready? Ready to talk about that?
Let's do it. We're always ready.
So yeah, first, I mean, there's been a lot of discussions going on in the community about what are you doing, Hamish?
It's fine. You can keep
You're confusing me.
It's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. Anyway, all right. So yeah, there's been a lot of discussions in the community, as I mentioned, about like the Rogue 2.0 changes, and like we know that it's a very polarizing debate. So yeah, first, like, you know, how did that go for you guys? Like, did you read everything?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some great discussions, regardless of whether or not there is an agreement on either side, or it's just fantastic to have the discussion and see the passion. We know the Dark Zone and the Rogue mechanic specifically is a very unique element to the game, and it's a very polarizing element. So it's been really cool to interact with the community about it.
Yeah. And I guess in a way, when it comes to like rogue mechanics and the Dark Zone, we know that the Dark Zone is a very sensible part of the game anyway. So I guess in a way we probably expected that people would have very strong opinions about it.
Yeah,
for sure.
So.
Yeah, we're very excited about the change. And in fact, I think we're going to cover some data later. But what's very interesting to me is that we have this great analytics team, and we've been monitoring the Dark Zone since launch.
Yeah.
And what's great is that we have a vocal community, but we also get so much data and information from player actions.
Oh yeah.
What they actually do in the game.
Yeah.
And based on that, that's a part of the reason why it was time for this change.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to work out. I really do.
And it's just one of those things where the time comes where we're this live game. We need to always be evolving. That's what live games are all about. And we were looking at all the data and just felt like this was the moment.
Yeah. If you have a live game, there's no evolution, right? Then you're not really a live game. So steps, knob turns, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's one thing that I think we've seen a lot in the discussion was the fact that like there were again a lot of voices that would go either way in the discussion, and some people felt like they were not being listened to. But that's one big part of all the balancing and all the like updating work that we do on a live game is also it's as much as we listen to the community as much as we can, there's also a big part of like in-game data that we look at and like what are the people actually doing in the game.
Absolutely.
Which is also something that we need to take into account. So
that's absolutely right.
That's one of these situations here where like the data is not necessarily completely in line with like the feedback we would get, and like we need to kind of try to find the right balance in between that. So. Talking about that, so yeah, as we said, we've mentioned the data, so yeah, maybe we can bring them up and we can look at that. I mean, we had this one thing that we wanted to show you guys, and so we have it on screen now. So do you guys want to talk about that, about this graph that we're showing now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to kick it off?
Sure. Okay. What you guys are seeing here is it's player death, and we have 3 brackets. I'm looking at it on my screen also. You have the red bracket is players that die by rogue, right? And the green bracket are essentially rogues that die by players. And then the orange one, the orange section is players that die by AI. And so you can see over the course of, this is launch of the game up until after 1.7.
Yeah.
Pretty much to a week ago.
Yeah. And so you can take a look at the ratios, and there's some very interesting things here.
So basically,
sorry.
So basically, when you take red plus green, that's PvP death, right? And that's orange is PvE death.
As PvE death, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And you can see how it's just consistently climbed throughout the life of the game, right? And now we're living in this world that was never really the intent.
Yeah.
We talked about the data, Yannick, and we've gathered tons of analytics, and we've gathered tons of feedback from the vocal community, and sent out, obviously, tons of surveys.
Yes.
And the information that we get back from our most hardcore group of players is that they want a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
In the dark zone between PvE and PvP.
Yeah.
And you can see that we haven't had anything close to a 50-50 split since about 1.2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, there's tons of reasons, right? It's a very complicated beast, the dark zone. So why things fluctuate as
what loot motivations
Exactly.
people were going after.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, last stand coming in. There's all sorts of things that shift play patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 1.2 is kind of an interesting hallmark.
Yeah. We don't like the fact that the dark zone is dominated by PvP at this point, 75%, of deaths.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason for the change.
Absolutely.
Now, it's a step towards the change. It's not like we think the rogue toggle is going to magically make a 50-50 split balance, right? Because like we said, it's complicated, but
But that's the magic of the live game.
yeah, it's an iteration, it's an evolution, it's a knob turn.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one other thing that we can see in this graph, can you bring it up, Hamish, again? Yeah. The other thing I think that's interesting is just looking at also when you look at the red and the green, so the rogue kills versus the non-rogue kills. So you can see that there is way more rogue kills, right? Than non-rogue.
Yes.
Yeah, double in fact.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it here. I feel like we've said it a couple of times in interviews around State of the Game. That's the rogue advantage.
Yep.
Right? It's their ability, it's rogues' abilities to pick when and where and to make sure that everything is ready and in their favor for combat.
Yeah.
And because there is no activation, because there's no warning, that means the non-rogues essentially start a combat at half health.
Yep.
And boy, that's just very difficult to overcome. And we're seeing players, because of that and because of a lot of other factors, right? We're seeing less people engage with the dark zone.
Yeah.
It's a big part of our game. It's an exciting place. We want people to visit it. There's
Players who are going in there spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah, people are passionate about it. I can't give specific numbers, or I'm not comfortable giving specific numbers, but the division game activity, right, it's positive.
Yes.
It's remaining steady, and like you said, the Black Friday sales, it's going up, right?
Yeah.
So overall game activity is
Awesome.
right? But dark zone is shrinking, and that's not cool. And it's because the balance, we believe, the balance is wrong.
Yep. With the rogue advantage, I mean, that's a big part of the toggle and where the idea of the toggle came from, right? Like now, if a rogue wants to toggle right in front of you, you have that chance to get the upper hand on them.
Yep.
But if they're smart and they activate around the corner and they proc their talents, well, now it's at least a more fair fight than it was before. And we think that's really going to improve overall PvP for everyone.
Yeah, and signs and feedback to non-rogue players when someone goes rogue near them, right? So we improved that. So it's going to be a good step.
Yep.
Right? A good evolution. We're looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's really like if you don't want to, engage in PvP, you have more chances to actually try to avoid these kind of engagements because you will, know when someone is going rogue or how to avoid them. Yeah. So one thing also was because again we got a lot of feedback during the PTS, but that's one of the situations I think, and we've talked about that, about how we the way people behave in the dark zone on the PTS is different from what you would see in the live game, right?
It is.
So that's
players' motivations on a test server, right?
Yeah.
Just by default, right? It's not their character. The loot motivation's not there. They're there to test numbers. They're to, they're there to look at very specific things.
People play it the way we play it when we're testing the game.
Absolutely.
We'll walk into the dark zone and everyone's standing around and talking about the builds they're using and testing mechanics, and that's awesome. And we get a lot of good information about that or from that. But we don't get this type of feedback as consistently.
Yeah, when we watch, players in the live game, you have groups that are performing the loops that they want to perform. Could be landmarks, could be D-Tech, it could be, supply drops or PvP, right?
Yeah.
And so everyone is fluctuating throughout this ginormous, it's over a third of the game play space, right?
Yeah.
So players are a lot more spread out in the live game, generally speaking.
Yeah, and the people who want to do the PvP, well, they're more congregated, but it's not the entire server generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I guess what we see is that usually the people that do go on the PTS is already a specific type of players, right? So it's then you're missing out on all the rest of the community, all the rest of the players that may not engage with the PTS, may not like want to take the time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hardcore group of players that we get awesome, really good feedback out of.
That's important to note. Yeah.
Exactly. We get a ton of good stuff out of the PTS. Lots of little changes went into this system and a ton of other systems from PTS feedback, but it's this small group of the overall player base that Terry was talking about.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess what's the good thing about having put that on the PTS, even though like we are not necessarily doing all the changes that the PTS crowd has been asking for, is that it still gave you some indications on things to look at once this actually goes live, right?
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it does go live, I'm looking forward to monitoring, okay, how often are people going rogue? What's the death ratio now after this happens? Regarding manhunt, right? Because that's a change we haven't talked about really too much on this particular state of the game. How many people complete a manhunt successfully?
What level are they completing their manhunt at? Or have people decided that, well, actually manhunt 2 is about as long as of an interact as I can survive, so that's where we're stopping at, right? Yeah. Or are people consistently going at the max manhunt rank?
Yeah, or are players just not caring at all about manhunts, regardless of the, reward loops that we put in there? So we'll be watching all that stuff.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the very important message that that we want to give to you guys. Actually, is just that, and I think that's what Terry was mentioning at the beginning. It's like this is a live game, right? So it's just like it's really this kind of change is really something that we want to put on the live game more than just the PTS. And then, of course, we're going to make changes if we see that it doesn't work or it doesn't work the way we intended it to. So that's really something that's going to potentially evolve then if we see that it's needed.
I mean, you look at any live game, right? Continued evolution, right? Continued iteration, and obviously that's important, right? To listen to the feedback, to pay attention to data, and that's what we do, and that's our intent, and we continue to want to do that to make the game better for all of us.
Yeah, because I'm definitely looking forward to playing at some undisclosed time next week.
See what you did there. I like that.
Whenever
me too.
that could be.
Be awesome.
Whenever that could be.
Yeah.
All right. I see that we have a lot of reactions to the rogue discussion in chat, but are just similar to discussions we've seen during the PTS anyway. And we know that you guys have very strong opinions about that. I mean, it ranges from this game is awesome to this game is going to die after 1.8 and all the spectrum in between. So I think that's just something we'll have to kind of wait until, again, some undisclosed date next week and see how that goes, and then make all the changes needed if really appears that we
but
need to do that.
We are definitely finishing this and feeling incredibly confident about what's going out there. Like, we feel really good about it.
Yeah.
So.
And time will tell, obviously, but give it time, right?
Yeah.
The day it releases is not the day to pass judgment, right? And to say, I told you so, you stupid devs, whatever that you might say, but data takes time to collect and aggregate, and so we'll let player actions and behaviors tell us the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
GK that is asking, didn't this game die with 1.3? Don't worry, this game died with every single update.
Forever and always.
Every single update was the update
deaths.
that was going to kill the game. So.
But every death just makes it stronger and bigger.
That's right.
Exactly. It's beautiful. Oh my God. All right. Let's talk about other stuff. So there were a few other things in the 1.8 and on the PTS that we wanted to talk about, just because, they're cool things that we wanted to bring up, and also because the community has been talking about them and maybe wasn't sure exactly what made it to the live game. So I wrote them down here, but like movement changes, for example. There were a bunch of those, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the big one really was, we talked about it way back at 1.7.1. There was the change to turn speed, movement speed. That has been adjusted on the PTS. Those changes are going live. Feeling pretty good about them. It's not quite up to the pre-1.7.1 turn speed. And that's to kind of fix some kind of perceived lag, desync issues that we were seeing, and kind of make the game feel, give you a little more control, deliberate control over your character. So we're feeling good about that, and those will be in 1.8.
Yep.
Cool. The other thing is, and that's also a topic that ties into global events, and I guess especially with the fact that we haven't done a global event in a while, unfortunately. We had said we wanted to make them monthly, but in the end we couldn't. So of course, people had to kind of grind classified through, out of global event drop rates and all of that. So there's been a lot of discussions about what are we doing to improve that kind of experience.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff dropping with 1.8 for that. So all name bosses across the whole game, Underground, DZ, Open World, Resistance, anything you're playing with a name boss, they have a chance to drop classified gear. We also added classified drops to the new PvP ranks we've added. So you used to be able to get up to 40 in your last stand rank. That's called PvP rank now. And now at 45, 50, 55, 60, you'll be getting classified caches just to kind of help fill in the sets you've been collecting. And then, one of the biggest ones I think is in Resistance. You can find purchasable Resistance crates with in-game currency. And those are crates that are exclusively filled with the more rare loot. And so that's a really good way for, do a targeted grind. It's a difficult grind because that content's difficult, but if you can get in there, it's a very targeted classified grind.
Yeah, just to clarify that a little bit, right? For those of you that haven't played Resistance on the PTS, you earn Shade Tech, and it's session-based, right? So as you're playing Resistance, you're earning Shade Tech from enemies that you kill, and you use that Shade Tech to open areas, to activate fortifications, but maybe you're so good that you don't need to do that, and so you're still going to accumulate Shade Tech. We put these crates in that are pretty costly. I'm just going to say costly.
They raise in cost the more you use them. It is something you really have to focus in, but they're there.
So you can make a choice to use your Shade Tech for loot specific stuff rather than fortifications. It's a gameplay choice, but it's also another way, like you said, to grind out this rarer loot.
Yeah, and we also know that we have the 2 other global events coming out soon. Those will release all of the remaining classified sets. So, the way we're looking at this right now is we have our drop rates that we're feeling pretty good about with all the new ways you can get them and everything. Once that whole classified loot pool is out there, the rates will go up, right? Because we know that that grind will become harder as more stuff is introduced.
Yeah. We're not necessarily into it to make it super hard.
Yeah.
We just want to cast a wide net, and give you a lot of options to work towards and optimize with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's great, because that's been one of the big concerns when people started doing the math about the drop rates, and once you have all the possible classified in the rates, in the drop rates and everything, or in the pool, then it becomes kind of crazy. So it's good to hear that.
I think of all the name bosses in the game.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's the revamped Underground, which is going to be hot, right? Just how often I come across a name boss there, the landmarks in the Dark Zone on fire, right?
Yep.
That's going to be fantastic.
And some of those, resistance waves, you're fighting multiple bosses at a time, up to 4 bosses at a time. So that gives you a lot of chances as well.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
If you can kill them, all right. The last thing I have on my list is about exotic weapons, because there was a full pass that was done on that, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about
it?
Go for it.
1.6 introduced a ton of really cool new exotic talents on all the weapons. And, as the game continued to evolve, along with data tracking, we saw their use continue to dip. I heard the community talk about it. We want them to be awesome. We've all collected them. We want to be able to use them. The Showstopper, things like that are super awesome weapons. So pretty much the way the rebalance has worked is, you have your non-exotic, say LMG, right? The exotic LMG is always going to be a damage increase off of that, right? It's always going to be inherently slightly better of a damage increase. But those talents are a little more specialized, right? So maybe you can make up the DPS with a different talent on a non-exotic gear. But the goal is all exotic weapons are much more useful, and we want them to become a normal part of your loadouts.
So buff them.
Just buff them.
Yep.
The Showstopper is super awesome with Lone Star. It's ridiculous.
I love the Showstopper. It should be in every Lone Star build.
Yeah.
Just saying. there was one that wasn't buffed though, the Pacan.
Yeah,
right.
Oh yeah.
What happened? What have you done?
Yeah, the P-Dog, the pecan. Yeah, I mean the pecan.
The pecan?
No, that's just what I call it.
I'm glad you said it because I would have said it wrong. And
No, that one was out of balance.
Yeah, I mean, really, the thing there is everything else got raised up to be a consistent damage increase off the base weapon, and even after that bump, the pecan was still above that. So that one got a slight decrease, but that's just to kind of create an overall balance that is good, and we don't have any one super standout weapon that becomes the go-to. We want you to give you choices, not force what weapons you need to use.
Yeah, based on mathematics.
Mathematics.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I have my whole collection of exotics, and I will start using them very soon.
Yeah, next week at some undetermined day.
Whenever that is.
Next week, whenever that is. One thing I've seen some people mentioning in the chat, and I just wanted to answer because people have been asking for a while, and like crazy, yeah, it's here. Xbox One X. Just wanted to confirm, guys, we have something that will be coming for the Xbox One X. It's just not with update 1.8. So we will be, whatever, how you call that, be patching the game to support the Xbox One X. So it's prettier. But it's just not coming with update 1.8. So we don't have a date yet when this will be coming, but it will be coming.
Yep.
Just wanted to say. All right, was there something else I wanted to mention? No, I think I'm pretty much done. I'm done with my notes at least. What about you guys? Anything you wanted to
No, that's good, man.
say?
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for letting us come on and explain some things.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. So just as a recap, the most important part, because I see some people that just tuned in during the stream and didn't get the information at the beginning, update 1.8 is confirmed, release next week. The exact date will be announced on Monday. We cannot confirm the exact day of the week when it will be released, but it's definitely coming out next week.
Just confirm it, man. Do it.
I confirm that it's next week, and I confirm that it may be on a usual day where we usually release updates next week.
Peer pressure.
That's it.
Yes.
And that's it. That's all I will say. And now I need my lawyer. So you're saying it's not Monday. Yes, Deep Fried Dave, I'm saying it's not Monday.
What? But how do you know?
It's so that's, you have 6 chances out of 7. So
I guess we'll see.
that's pretty much it.
But yes,
Sunday.
I'm excited.
Let's do it.
And also, I saw. Did you see Matt in chat? Hey, man. What's up? We miss you. How's
Matt's in chat?
Yeah, Matt Shotch is here. Everyone, show some love for that guy.
Nice.
We miss you. Hope Siege is going well.
All right. Well, anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for coming to the State of the Game. Yeah. And also, just as we mentioned was it 2 weeks ago, that we talked about the state of the games and that we are not necessarily going to make them on a weekly basis. Just to give you an update, next week we'll definitely have a state of the game, I think, because depending, the update may or may not have been released by then, but we will want to talk about it anyway, I'm pretty sure. See what I did there?
Yeah, that was perfect.
And also, we want to give you an update on the global event, give you the exact dates when this is going to start, what's going to be, the rewards, and all of that. So definitely state of the game next week. I don't know for the weeks after that. We will see. We will decide on a case-by-case basis.
Dude, I'm mega excited about next week. Next week is going to be the shit.
Especially the early part of the week. Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
Why?
All right.
Why?
Job done. I haven't given the date. That's fine. I'm not fired.
Yeah. Yannick fired.
No.
Right.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys at Redstorm. Thank you guys at home or whatever you're doing. Don't watch the state of the game while you drive, please. So I hope nobody's driving. Just make sure that you park before you do that.
Well, you can listen to the podcast.
You can listen to the podcast.
This will be up as a podcast in like half an hour.
Wow. Commitment. Half an hour. Now you just like.
All right, I've set the timer for myself.
Now you have to like shut it down and like rush to your desk. And
I will do it.
All right. Anyway.
Do it for the community.
So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll be seeing you next week. All right.
Bye.
Bye.